My name is Greg Rogers. I am the owner of IPM Computers, and I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Now, it may get a little geeky, but you should find this information valuable, especially if you're a business owner or a key decision maker in a business. What I want to go over with you is the most important process of our sales process, referred to as the assessment. Why would you want to know about the assessment? Well, because we want to show you how we differ from other IT companies. Some IT companies will come in and they'll just get a count of how many devices you have and they'll give you a cost of what it would be for them to do business with you. Us, we go quite a bit further because this is a two-way street. This is a relationship. We want to learn how you do business and we want you to see how we do business. We want to be able to go in and find any pain points possible that you may or may not know about and be able to let you know how we can solve those pain points for you. To begin this process, we will send you what we refer to as the MSA, which will give us permission to be able to access your servers, your desktops, your email system, and be able to install any software that we need to perform this assessment process. Now, this software won't alter your system in any way, shape, or form. It's just purely for information gathering and for us to have remote access into the equipment after hours. Once the MSA is signed, we will begin an interview process with your IT team or your most knowledgeable person on staff. We will ask them all sorts of questions. We'll try to get the usernames and passwords to everything that you have, your computers, your servers, your network, your Wi-Fi, your email, everything. From there, we'll begin to install our software. We'll come in after hours and we'll remote into every single computer and try and go over everything that we have found during our interview process and even try and find issues that you may not have been aware of. From there, that process can take anywhere from 24 hours to a week, and that purely depends on how complex your business is, how large your business is. And so what we'll do is we'll try and deliver that into a proposal where we'll sit down in a next meeting and uncover all the things that we have found and talk about the next steps and what all it's going to cost involved to be able to proceed. I'm currently finishing up an assessment for a potential client today. Now, sometimes when we do these assessments, we come back with a good report and tell them that their IT company was doing a great job. But in this particular scenario, it's going to be a bad report. We're going to tell them all sorts of things that this IT company has not done right. And this IT company is putting this particular client in some very hot water. They've got servers that are open to the public. They've got all sorts of situations where they could easily be held ransom. And this company could be down for days, if not weeks or months. So anyways, this is where the part of the conversation gets very techy. So I apologize if your eyes glaze over, but at least when you hear this, you'll know some of the situations that your company could possibly be in today. So the first thing that I found right off the bat when I started doing my assessment on this company is that they are utilizing a brand of firewall called a SonicWall. Now, this isn't the worst brand out there. This isn't the worst company out there, but the way that this particular company has set it up is they actually have the admin interface open to the public. SonicWall has a various history of exploits, vulnerabilities, where people can bypass the login portal to get full access to a router. And if you have that open to the public, you're essentially giving them an easy way in. Another big thing, and there's about 10 of these that I'm going over here. So the second one here, another big thing is that they have 4 very important devices in this company that are also open to the public through what they call as remote desktop. Now, most seasoned IT guys know that you never leave remote desktop open to the world. This particular IT company has 4 devices open to the world. These devices are the accounts payable person, her computer, the Sage server, which houses all of the data for this entire company. Now, on this accounts payable computer, we found every social security number for every employee in this company, not just for this year, but for multiple years. Anybody that's worked for this company. And that information is on a computer that is public to the internet. One of the things we would do there is immediately get those computers behind the firewall. We would never allow remote desktop to be public. If the client's need to remotely access a computer from home, we would set up a solution that would allow them to do that with encrypted connections end to end. The next thing is we went into their Office 365 tenant, and they have this thing called a secure score that tells you right off the bat what they have turned on, what they don't have turned on. And they have one of the lowest scores we've ever seen. That's 21%. Now, take that with what you may. You can't really get up to 100% unless you pay for various licenses from Microsoft. And most clients we come into contact with don't want to pay those licenses. And I don't blame them. It's just more of a money grab, in my opinion. But this tells me that they don't even have the simplest things turned on, such as multi-factor authentication, even for the admin accounts. So what we would do is we have about 100 different steps that we would go in and take, and we would get that score up to about the 90 to 92% range. That is about the highest you can get before you have to pay for additional licenses just to get a more secure score. Another thing too is they didn't even have auditing turned on in their 365 tenant. We have turned that on for them. The reason why we did that is because we installed a piece of software that through the duration of this assessment is looking at everything that is going on in this tenant. Who is logging in, where are they logging in, when are they logging in, and how are they logging in? If they are logging in from outside of the country, let's just say in China, are they exfiltrating data? Are these employees keeping data on a OneDrive that is highly important, like information you would want to sign an NDA to have? And are they simply just taking that data and sending it out to their competitors? We're finding that out during this assessment phase. This assessment phase is still coming to a close, so I do not have that information completed yet. These are just the first things that came right off the bat that we found very quickly. Another thing we found is that they utilize the Avast brand antivirus. Avast has a reputation in this industry for being the cheapest antivirus you can possibly get. So it's going to give you the results of the cheapest antivirus you can possibly get. When we installed our software on all these computers, they had Avast running. Avast never stopped us from installing this software. We should have never been able to install any of this software with the way the antivirus was installed. What we do is we install a brand referred to as Sophos, which is also tied to a security operations center that operates 24/7. They're a huge multi-million-dollar company that oversees everything that we do. So the way we tailor that antivirus is we make it so that remote control applications cannot simply be installed. Monitoring tools simply cannot be installed. You cannot bypass that unless we go in and allow it. So this Avast antivirus was just not configured properly, and it's just a lower tier grade antivirus. Another thing that the client told us is that they recently went through a server crash where their main Active Directory server just died. And instead of restoring from a backup, they rebuilt the entire Active Directory from the ground up. That can take an entire day to several days to weeks, depending on how big your company is. Whereas if they had proper backups, they would have been able to restore that server and been back up and going in an hour with virtually no downtime. They would not have had to recreate and rejoin every single computer to the domain. It would have been a much less painful process. So what we're going to do is we're going to propose the ability to back up every single one of those systems. Another thing too is the way they have these backups set up, they're not getting reports every day or week that are automated by the system that shows them the details of the backups. They're getting handwritten emails every once in a while from their current IT company that just simply tells them, hey, everything's good. So they have to take what this guy says at face value and trust him completely and blindly. Our backup system sends you a report every Saturday, and you get to see the results of every single week. Were they good? Were they bad? We'll have scenarios where backups were good on Monday, backups were bad on Tuesday, but you'll see in that report that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so forth, everything was good. That's because our technicians are constantly addressing any kind of backup issues that are happening. But you get to see where our flaws are and where we excel and you get to see the proof as it's automated through that system. It's all about accountability. Another thing we found is that the email system was not completely set up. And we find this probably 9 out of 10 times, that email systems are, just barely set up, or they've got some things right and other things not right. In this particular scenario, we found out that pretty much everything was set up and left as defaults right out of the box. When you get an email system, there is a lot of customization that you have to do. You have to go into your domain and you have to set up these things referred to as DKIM, DMARC, MTA, DNSSEC, and SPF. These are all various DNS records that we set for you. They help prevent anti-spoofing. They help prevent your email from going into the spam folder of potential clients that you were trying to talk to. They also help all sorts of other things with dealing with anti-spam. But these are various things that have changed throughout time to improve email deliverability. And a lot of people don't know about them, and they simply don't have them set up. This particular client does not have any of those set up. Another big thing, this is huge. When they set up this new Active Directory and the old one that they actually still have running, they did not change anything. They literally just set it up straight out of the box and changed nothing. We go in and we implement a series of group policy objects that helps us abide by the Center for Information Security Standards, CIS benchmarks. Their newest standards, I think it's 8.0 right now. But we go in and we put that on every Active Directory system that we manage. This will ensure that you have encrypted networks locally, as well as anything that's trying to access externally. We put good policies in place for users and their passwords so that if they were to get hacked by some stretch of the measure and they had their password hashes taken, it would take an extremely long time for those hashes to get broken. We also encourage good password policies in the manner that if we find your passwords on the dark web, we inform you. We tell you, hey, we got to change that password. You cannot use that password anymore. Another thing is that we run phish tests. We run, simulated phishing tests on all the users, which is why we need a list of all the employees of the company and their email addresses. We'll send these fake phishing emails to all of your employees. We will let you know the results of that. In this particular scenario, everybody was good except for one employee. And it only takes one employee to allow a hacker in. And once that hacker is in, all bets are off, especially in a system like this with no CIS policies and no protections internally with your Avast antivirus. All it takes is that one employee to let them in the front door, and your system is done for. So those are the findings of this particular assessment. Now, even after hearing all this, you may be thinking to yourself, I trust my IT guy 100%. Now, these assessments are completely free, and you're under no obligation to use us after the assessment. So you have nothing to lose. Give us a call, and let's sit down and see how we can help your company. Now, with that being said, I hope you have a great day. Thank you.